Okay. Hi, this is Ice with the 3. Currently, it is January the 6th, 2026. Okay, well, it looks like I missed a few dates in regards to a few other political figures in my video that I made on January the 1st, I believe. Because I didn't notice that Hillary Clinton, J.D. Vance, and Hunter Biden were having progressions on the 15th of January. And this is also the same day that I believe transiting Mercury will conjoin transiting Mars in the sky. What? No, it conjoins transiting Mercury conjoins transiting Mars in the sky on January the 18th. But these dates, they pretty much they're all together. And so the last time this happened, in regards to having several high-ranking political officials having progressions at the same time this happened. How do I say this? Let me pause for a second. Okay, the last date where there are several political figures that had progressions happening all at once, and when we had transits happening all at once as well too, was when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So it was a huge date. Like I said, pretty much all the way back during the dates of August 27th, September. August 27th was a date that Donald Trump Jr. his progressed ascendant conjoined his progressed Saturn, and I said it was gonna be a depressing day for him. Okay, so on September the 2nd, 2025, that's when JD Vance, I think his progressed moon made an aspect towards Mars. I forgot what the aspect was, but moving on September the 4th, 2025, that's when for Pete Hegseth, his progressed moon made an aspect to Uranus. I think it conjoined Uranus. Either his progressed or his natal. It was supposed to be a huge shocking event for him. And then Usher Vance, I think on September the 5th or the 6th, that's when Usher Vance, her progressed moon made an aspect to Mars. And then also around the same date for Taylor Swift, I mentioned her because James called me. He sent out he posted a video talking about Taylor Swift or whatever, and pretty much her orange colored album. And then also there was an eclipse that happened on I think it was a lunar eclipse. It was lunar or solar eclipse, but a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse happened on September the 7th, 2025, and then days later Charlie Kirk on September 10th was killed. And so now, flash forward to now, it is currently January the 6th, but on January the 15th, we're really the dates between January the, I'll say from January the 14th, well, let's say the 13th, all the way through January the 26th. There are several political figures that have like a lot of progressions going on. And then also, I've already said that on February the 17th, there's going to be an eclipse, and it's going to be exactly opposite Donald Trump's natal ascendant. But it's going to also be not exactly opposite Bill Clinton's natal sun, but it's going to be opposite Bill Clinton's sun. So that could be the date where something huge can happen with Bill Clinton. So let me pause for a second. Additionally, I told you that this is going to be the Mercury retrograde from hell, right? Basically, Mercury. Let me get the dates where Mercury began to retrograde. Let me see if I can do it real time during this recording. No, let me pause for a second. Okay, Mercury retrogrades happen all the time, but except for some reason, this Mercury retrograde is just these two Mercury retrogrades, they're conjoining Mars, and for some reason, every time transit Mercury conjoined Mars since October 20th, 2025, it's like a major event goes down with Epstein, and so or the Epstein situation. So on October 20th, 2025, transiting Mercury conjoined Mars, and that's when Prince Andrew he dropped his Duke of York title. And I think days later he dropped his Prince title as well. But also on October 21st, Virginia DeFrey, I think she released her book Postmortem, titled Nobody's Girl, and so yeah, that happened. And also there was a weird internet outage that happened in regards to Amazon Web Services or AWS. So that was just weird. So let's see here. I think playing around with two doggone. So on November 9th, 2025, transiting Mercury, it began to retrograde, and it retrograded all the way until November 29th, 2025. However, on November the 12th, 2025, that's when transiting Mercury conjoined transiting Mars inside of the sky, and that's when the government, which was shut down since I believe October 1st, 2025, it came back open. But also Bill Clinton on around the same time on November the 12th or the 13th, he had the same progression side of his chart that he had during his impeachment, where his progressed moon made a trine to his progressive Senate, I believe. His progressive Senate. And see, the last time this happened was on December 26th, 1908. But I think his impeachment began on December 19th, 1908. So anyway, so that was one major astrological situation right there. And so I think days later, on November the 20th or November 19th or whatever, I believe the Democrats and the Republicans, they signed the bill, the Epstein Transparency Act, where pretty much they said they wanted to release every Epstein file or whatever. And so they said that that the deadline to release those files should be on December 19th, 2025. And so let me see. Let me go back real quick to make sure I didn't miss another date where transiting Mercury conjoined Mars. No, not yet. So on November to 29th, 2025, that's when transiting Mercury, it retrograde ended. However, what I forgot, what I didn't notice, what I didn't notice was, I think Hillary Clinton, she had a progression around that time. I think a progression to her Neptune. So let me pause for a second to get that real quick. Okay, so yeah, on November 27, 2025, Hillary Clinton, her progressed moon made a trine to her natal Neptune. And the last time this happened inside of her chart was on August 18th, 1998. And weirdly enough, on August the 17th, 1998, that's when Bill Clinton, he admitted to having an affair with Monica Lewinsky on August 17th, 1998. So, and a month later, on September 9th, 1998, the Star Report was submitted. So let me pause for a second to get the additional astrology. Well, also, okay, of course I just said that let me just get to the point. Pretty much I just said that transiting Mercury, its station went direct on November the 29th, 2025. But also around the same date, transiting Saturn, its station went direct as well. So let me pause for a second. Okay, so I did say that on the two big dates for December was December the 17th for Bill Clinton and December 27th for Hillary Clinton. On December 17th, or around that date, for Bill Clinton, his progressed moon made an aspect to his, I believe, his natal Pluto. Let me pause for a second to get that exact lore. Okay, so yes, for Bill Clinton on December 17, 2025, his progressed moon trined his natal Pluto. And pretty much there's going to be an echo of this event on January 24th, 2026. And around December 17th, 2025, that's when that was the deadline date. Well, it was around the deadline date of the Epstein Transparency Act, and the DOJ and everybody else involved inside of it having to submit basically all of the Epstein files or whatever. And so that was just that. We might see a reminder or an echo of that event on January 24th, 2026, where Bill Clinton, his progressed moon, will trine his progressed Pluto. Now, the second date in regards to December of 2025 that I said that we need to look out for was on December the 27th, 2025, and that was for Hillary Clinton. Let me pause a second to get the exact lore for that. Okay. So on December 27th, 2025, that's when Hillary Clinton, her progressed moon, it made an aspect to her, it squared her natal Chiron. And so the last time this happened was on September the 17th, 1998. And so this is the same astrology as a submission to the Star Report. And the Star Report, again, was submitted on September 9th, 1998. And this led to the impeachment of Bill Clinton. So let's see here. Let me pause for a second because I need to find the exact date where pretty much Hillary Clinton, her progressed moon, will make an aspect to her progressed Chiron. Let me pause. Okay, so for Hillary Clinton, her progress moon will square her progress Chiron on October 26, 2026, and that's her birthday. And the last time this happened was on April 17th, 1999. I haven't done enough research in regards to 1999 for the Clintons to figure out what that's about. But anyway, what's that? Let me pause for a second. But okay, my overall point is that there are several prominent figures inside of the political sphere that are having a progression on or around January 15th, 2026. So like I said, on January 15th, 2026 for Hillary Clinton, her progressed moon will make a trine to her Neptune. I believe it's her progressed Neptune. And the last time this happened was around November 27th, 2025. And let's see here. So Hunter Biden, let me pull him up real quick. On, let's see here. January 15th, I believe, right? On January 15th, 2026, for Hunter Biden, um, his progressed moon was sextile his progressed sun. And that means that he may get some kind of ego boost. However, see, around the same time, Donald Trump, he has a progression of Saturn. And so that means that Donald Trump's going to be depressed or have a sense of loss of something for some reason. And right now, I just saw this Maduro. They just captured Maduro, or the dictator or president of Venezuela. And I'm just thinking like maybe that might maybe there might be some kind of retaliation for that. I don't know. But something causes Donald Trump depression. However, the last time that Donald Trump had this progression inside of his chart, where his progressed moon made an aspect to his Saturn from this house. Let me pause for a second to pull it up real quick. And the aspect is for Donald Trump, his progressed moon is making a trine to his natal Saturn. And it happens on January 14th, 2026. However, the last time it happened was on September 15th, 1998. And weirdly enough, for Bill Clinton, the last time this a progression anyway. On September 15th, 1998, for Bill Clinton, his progressed moon made a sextile to his progressed nodes. And that was when the star report was submitted. It was around this time. The star report was submitted on September 9th, 1998. However, it hit inside of his chart on September 15th, 1998. But it's weird that... How do I say this? Let me pause a second. Okay. So it's weird that Donald Trump had the progression all the way back on September 15th, 1998, where he should have felt a sense of depression on the same day that Bill Clinton should have had a sense of depression. But he in regards to his chart, his progressed moon made an aspect to his progressed nodes, and so it was like a fated event for him. So it's kind of weird that this same progression is happening now on the same day as Bill Clinton is having his progression to his nodes or whatever. And well, actually, Bill Clinton's going to have his progression to his progressed nodes on the 16th or the 17th of January 2026. How it's so close that it really doesn't matter. So anyway, so I'm gonna pull some other people's charts up real quick too. Okay, so JD Vance on January 15th, 2026. His progressed moon will oppose his natal moon. And it's like it may be like a completion of an event or something like that, of a major event. However, for some reason, Donald Trump, he will have a depressive emotional event around this time or this date as well. And later, Bill Clinton will have the same astrology as the submission of the star report, and that's throughout all these dates of January 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. And not to forget, like I said, this is the Mercury retrograde from hell. But let me go back. I could probably said this multiple times, but I keep pausing. I don't know if I said it or not. But Hillary Clinton, she's having a progression to I believe Neptune around this time as well. Let me pause for a second. So yeah, Hillary Clinton, she's having a progression to Neptune as well. Her progressed Neptune. So that's Donald Trump's having a progression. Bill Clinton's having a progression. JD Vance having a progression. Hunter Biden's having a progression. Who else? Let me pause for a second. And see, days later, on January 24th, 2026, let me stop. On January 24th, 2026 for Bill Clinton, he's going to have another progression where his progressed moon will trine progress Pluto. And this is like an echo or a reminder of the event that happened on December 17th, 2025, where his progressed moon made an aspect to his natal Pluto. And so the last time this happened was, I'm going to repeat myself probably, but So the previous date this happened was on August 10th, 1998. And see, on August 17th, 1998, for Bill Clinton, he publicly admitted to having an affair with Monica Lewinsky. I probably said this already multiple times, but it's like I'm pausing. I don't know what I said or what I haven't said. So let me continue. So days later, on the 26th of January, for Adam Schiff, right? On January 26, 2026, Adam Schiff gets lucky. He has a progression to Jupiter on this day, where his progression was to make a sextile to his natal Jupiter. And see, every time Adam Schiff gets lucky, it's like it's something bad for Donald Trump. So I think last time there was like a good event for Adam Schiff. That's when there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And then I think when there was a bad event for Adam Schiff, I think it was a Saturn progression or whatever. That's when let me pause a second. I think I'm getting my dates mixed up. Anyway, around the time Donald Trump was supposed to be assassinated or whatever, for Adam Schiff, basically his progressed Saturn made an aspect to his natal moon, and that was just a weird event for me. Anyway, looking at the astrology. Anyway, let me pause for another second. Okay, so my overall point is that between the dates of, I'll say, January 13th through the rest of the month, and then so on, because that eclipse is going to hit, and it's exactly opposite Donald Trump's ascendant. Something big could go down around between the. It shows on the 14th throughout the 18th, but it goes on further than that. So I just say it starts on the 14th of January, and that's not the end. Let's see here. Maybe that's all I need to put inside this video, and I just need to wait to see what happens. Well, I have to probably make another video around like what Not. I want to probably make another video before February 1st, but just so I can get a grasp on what the possibilities are. I just know that something big could go down in regards to Bill Clinton around what the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th of January, because what actually transiting Mercury will conjoin transiting Mars on January the 18th. So it's between these dates. I'm sorry, I can't give an exact date. An exact date will probably be on January 18th, 2026. However, the progressions are shown for Donald Trump's chart on the 14th, for Hillary Clinton's chart on the 15th, for Hunter Biden's chart on the 15th, on J.D. Vance's chart on the 15th, and on Bill Clinton's chart on the 16th or the 17th. And look at the transits it's on the 18th, where transiting Mars conjoins transiting Mercury inside of the sky. And that's not the end of this Mercury retrograde. So it's we're just getting started, because transiting Mercury is going to conjoin transiting Mars 2 more times due to his retrograde motion. And so it's going to hit after January 18th, 2026. It's going to hit again on March 15th, 2026. And see, Bill Clinton, he has more astrology that's going on around that time as well. And then also on April 20th, 2026 as well, it's going to transiting Mercury is going to conjoin transiting Mars inside the sky as well. And see, throughout all this time, you have some of these outer planets, they're changing signs, and you also have transiting Uranus. It's going to finally enter Gemini, and that usually deals with civil wars in regards to the United States. So hopefully I don't sound too crazy. I know I paused a lot of times or whatever, but I was trying to get a few. Let me pause a second. So I was trying to give some of the astrology that I missed in regards to Hillary Clinton's chart, and a few other people's prevalent people's charts, because I've been said that November, December, and January, and really this entire period of time is going to be crazy. I was expecting October 11th to be where things would just get started, and maybe Donald Trump getting snubbed in regards to the Nobel Peace Prize was maybe the trigger for Donald Trump. I don't know. But it's this same astrology that happened during the Monica Lewinsky scandal And Bill Clinton's impeachment is happening now in regards to Bill Clinton's progressions, and really everyone inside the circle's progressions as well. So it's the same. It's similar to the same astrology that happened all the way back in 1998. What concerns me, however, is that pretty much before Bill Clinton he left office, he made a trade deal with China, and pretty much that's about to have its Saturn return, and so who knows? Maybe China could become very prominent, or maybe trade relations in regards to the entire world gets changed up. I don't know. And Bill Clinton would have the same astrology in regards to him signing that WTO trade or that WTO trade deal. What I don't know the name of it right now. It's shown on February 1st, 2028, and that's an election year. And so who knows? And then see this situation with Maduro, the Venezuelan dictator or president or whatever. I would think that Russia's seeing Maduro being detained like that. I would I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Let me pause a second. So I'm kind of concerned in regards to how anyone of these nations may retaliate in regards to just uh that situation. Now, Maduro was not a good person at all. I've seen the videos a long time ago, before before he got detained. January the 3rd or whatever, or yeah, the 3rd, where there were people outside of wherever he stayed or whatever, and they were starving. And being that these people's guns were taken away from them, all they had were rocks to throw at these men who had guns, and they would shoot these children dead. Not full grown men. They would shoot these children dead for opposing his regime or trying to rally against him. And see, the thing about it is that these people were starving. And I'm telling you, this is years ago. I was back years ago. I was like, why are we inside of Iran and talking about it's a humanitarian crisis or whatever when there's a humanitarian crisis inside of Venezuela? And so I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about Cuba, because Cuba, I think they have something called liberation or something like that. They want it to be separated from the United States and other places or whatever. But Venezuela, these people were begging for food. And as a matter of fact, there are reports that Maduro and his people. Well, okay, there'll be other countries trying to ship food to Venezuela to the people so they won't go hungry, and allegedly and reportedly, Maduro would and his people would capture these ships or whatever, get the food, and do something else with it, and leave these people starving. And so how it was done, I would think that it could have been. It probably couldn't have been done any better. I mean, it could have, but I'm not going to sit up here and how do I say this? It was a bad. Let me pause a second. I think I need to get my words right. So let me pause. So I say it like this. The optics of it was bad. What Maduro is going through or whatever, I kind of think he deserves it. Because the people they've suffered under his regime. However, the optics of this situation is just bad, because you have Russia looking at this situation. You have the whole world looking at this situation, and they're like, "Oh, so Trump thinks that he's the king of the world, okay?" And anybody can retaliate, and it could be a shit show. And yeah, not to mention that those countries, Colombia, Cuba, Venezuela, they're so close to the United States that it's like they can retaliate, and it'll be it could be pretty bad. So anyway, let me pause another second just to. Yeah. I guess all I can say is that I hope it doesn't spark World War III. But I do know like around the 15th of January, some stuff could go down in regards to Bill Clinton. I want y'all to stop this video like at 24:57. So hopefully things go good. Bye for now.